I think it's really good that there's an exhibition focusing on female filmmakers because I'm a theater director and I'm noticing that in theater, but also in movies, there are mainly male people who take the lead, or male people who direct, or male people who are famous, and I don't like that because it's like I think there are a lot of powerful women who also can take this leading role, and I really like that here's a created the space for this powerful women to show their work.
The sad part is that it's still necessary to have these exhibitions where we see female perspective, because otherwise we wouldn't see at all how women portray themselves or their world, or what the interests of women are. So as a woman, you keep thinking that what you're doing is wrong because the way you think or the way your world is constructed as a woman doesn't exist. It makes me feel it's not fair that we know so little about women's history or women's art in general, like that we don't know anything, and we're being denied something that's so important for us to grow up as people, basically.
One piece that really stood out to me was a piece called The Artist, and it was a betrayal of Hollywood's depiction of the artist. So you saw both women depicted as artists and men depicted as artists, but of course the women depicted as artists were always met with some kind of hostility and some kind of just resistance. And I thought it was a really, really important film. So it's almost like a video essay, but without the text.
In art schools, there are a lot of women as students and not a lot of men. But if you see in the art world, there are more men, more famous or in galleries represented than women.
You will so often have female filmmakers making shorts, but they can't quite make it to the feature. And of course, it's because of traditional gender bias and unconscious bias and our traditional gender notions of gender in filmmakers. But I think it's set to change, particularly here in Ireland.
I don't understand why people stick to stereotypes when there's so many amazing stories to be told about so many amazing people who've come from so many backgrounds. And I love seeing how different people are, how their hardships have made them, and it's really amazing to see. I always wanted to see myself represented in a way that wasn't you're a burden to your family, but it's okay, your family will learn to accept you. I've always wanted the chance, I've always wanted to wonder, what would an autistic superhero be like? What would, someone who was autistic but wanted to travel the world and see what it had to offer, just the opportunity sitting there for everyone to take and no one's taking it.
But it's incredibly inspirational and challenging. And I think what's really interesting about this particular exhibition is that it's very immersive, but you're aware that you're in a public space. So you have both the public and the private. So there is a real immersive quality to it, and one that I haven't really experienced before, and that you certainly wouldn't experience in a cinema.
How the film is represented, it has a lot of impact on the movie itself. You see the light of the entry, you see the other movie, you see people walking. So it's nice setup, but I think it will be stronger if you have more a closer room or something that you can be really into the movie.
Yeah, the gallery carries with it a certain amount of pressure, because you realize that you could be being watched as well as you watch something else, and that you expect to be engaged, you expect to be challenged, you expect to have to think. Whereas a movie theatre, very often you're just there to escape and just climb out of yourself.
I think it's a good experiment to try and see what happens if you put movies in galleries. Because it's an interesting way where you're looking at very differently than you would when you would at home or in a cinema.
Mm. Yeah, you look different when you're in a gallery. Maybe I'm harsher when I'm in a gallery.
Me too.
let's check how many female artists are here.